Monica moved deeper into the forest, her eyes fixed on the moving white python. Her heart raced with hope. Maybe it would lead her to a hidden treasure, a sack of gold, a pile of diamonds, or bundles of raw cash. But instead of riches, it led her to a crashed car, damaged and still letting out smoke. She looked and saw an old man trapped inside. Monica rushed forward and pulled him out of the wreck. Lying on the ground, she checked the man's chest. He was still breathing. Bruises covered his body, blood on his lips, and dust in his hair. She stared at him, heart heavy with pity. "I can't leave him here to die," she muttered. "There must be a reason the white python brought me here." She turned back, but didn't see the python. It had vanished. Monica bent down, lifted the man, and began the long walk back to the village. Monica was only 20, poor, desperate, and hoping for a way out of misery. She thought the python would change her life, but instead, it gave her a burden. In Tamapo village, a white python was no ordinary creature, but gentle ancestors sent to guide the chosen ones to riches. But how could Monica tell if this burden was a curse, or the beginning of a blessing? And will the white python return to help her? Let's continue the story to find out. Monica lived with her wicked aunt. Her mother was dead, and her father was a hopeless drunkard, carrying the injured man home. She knew trouble awaited, but she had no one else, and nowhere else to go. She arrived home and was relieved. Aunt Lydia wasn't around. Quickly, she laid the old man on a mat. He was still breathing. His eyes opened briefly, but he was too weak to speak. Monica heated water, cleaned his wounds, and rubbed honey on them. She worked fast, hands trembling, heart pounding. Just as she finished, the door creaked. Aunt Lydia stepped in. "Who do you bring inside my house?" she snapped. Monica's body shook like a leaf. "I found him near the main road. He had an accident. He was dying. I brought him to help." Aunt Lydia said nothing. She turned and stormed out toward the pig pen. She grabbed a dirty bucket, the one pigs drank from, returned, and dumped the water all over Monica. Then came the insults. She cursed Monica, her dead mother, and her drunkard father. "You brought a man here to perish, so I be blamed? You useless, good-for-nothing girl. Are you a doctor? A nurse?" The old man heard it all. His body ached. But Monica's pain struck him deeper. Even in his suffering, he felt for her. Every word from Aunt Lydia cut through him like a blade. The filthy water wasn't enough. Aunt Lydia rushed Monica and slapped her hard across the cheek. She raised her hand for a second strike. Then a loud roar shook the sky. A helicopter thundered to the village, flying low. Its doors were open. Everyone saw it. Children screamed. Mothers ran out, babies strapped to their backs. It was a military aircraft, and they were searching for someone. Lieutenant Colonel Maluka. The injured man Monica was nursing. He had been on a secret mission for the country when the accident happened. The helicopter passed, and silence returned. Aunt Lydia pointed at the man. "Return him to where you found him, or leave my house." Then she slammed the door. Monica didn't argue. She knew her aunt's words were final. There was no room for mercy. She bent down, lifted the man again, and stepped into the forest. The sun was fading. The path was rough, but she kept going. Above, the helicopter returned, circling, still searching. Colonel Maluka heard it. He knew it was for him, but he had no strength to speak. Monica kept walking. She didn't know what to do. She passed the accident site. Her legs ached. Her back throbbed, but she refused to stop. Then she heard a rustling sound behind her. She turned and saw the white python was following her. Frustrated, she shouted, "They say you bring gold, silver, diamonds to those you love. You came to me. So where is my fortune?" Tears burned her eyes. "I'm poor. I live with a cruel aunt. Is this what you brought me?" The serpent stared in silence. She turned away, broken. But when she looked back, the python was gone. When Monica found a safe spot, she dropped the man gently and built a rough hut from sticks and leaves. It was crooked, but better than leaving him out in the open. She fetched water from a nearby stream and gave it to him. The moment he drank, He vomited everything. Monica panicked. She had nothing else to offer, so she turned and rushed back home. Aunt Lydia was waiting at the door. "Where's the man?" she asked, voice sharp. "I returned him like you said." Monica lied. The aunt scoffed. "Because I feed you for free, you now have time bringing strangers? Have you ever brought food into this house? You're no better than those pigs. At least I can sell them someday. But you're useless." She dumped a huge pile of clothes at Monica's feet, hers and her children's. "Wash everything, and cook pounded yam with fresh okra soup. Now!" It was evening. Darkness was creeping in. Monica said nothing. She bent down and began to wash. Soon, she ran into the kitchen and put the pot on fire. She juggled the two, cooking and washing, but the work never bothered Monica. Her heart was with the man lying helpless in the forest. The only reason she had come home was to find a way to take food to him. After finishing her chores, she served food to Aunt Lydia and her children as usual. Then, quietly, she hid some food inside a small flask and tucked it away, ready to sneak out to him. Night fell, and once Aunt Lydia and her children were asleep, Monica quietly slipped out of the house and headed toward the forest. By midnight, she reached the spot and found the man shivering from the cold. Quickly, she built a fire and dragged him closer. The warmth slowly eased the shivers. Monica tried to feed him, but he vomited everything he took. Concern washed over her. He was badly hurt, unable to eat or speak. If this kept up, she feared he wouldn't survive. She dragged him into the hut, covered him with a blanket, and he fell into a deep sleep. Exhausted, Monica soon joined him in sleep. When morning came, she woke to find the man awake, but his condition hadn't improved. Monica felt a wave of panic. What if he dies here? His family won't even know. What will I do with his body? As she paced around the forest in helpless worry, she spotted the white python. Its head moved, almost as if signaling her to follow. Curious, she stepped closer. The snake plucked a leaf from a nearby shrub and dropped it on the ground. It moved forward, and Monica hesitated before picking up the leaves. Confused, she wondered, what does this mean? What should I do with these leaves? She knew the plant wasn't food. It was common in the village, but not used for cooking. But perhaps it was for the sick man. Without wasting any time, Monica gathered a bunch of the leaves and returned to the man. She boiled them for hours, letting the mixture cool down. Once it was ready, she fed him the concoction. He drank it, and immediately he began vomiting out something foul. Afterward, Monica gave him some food, and this time he ate without any issues. He slept soundly for hours, his body finally resting. Monica wandered the forest, looking for the white python. Maybe, just maybe, it may lead her to gold and diamonds. But the serpent was nowhere to be found. After a while, Monica went to the man. She was surprised when she heard him greet her. "Thank you so much for saving my life," he said, his voice soft but filled with gratitude. Monica, shy, turned her face to the side and replied, "It's nothing big. I just did my best." The man spoke again, his tone calm but serious. "I saw what that woman did to you, how she poured that dirty water on you and slapped you. Who is she?" Monica answered, "She's my Aunt Lydia. After my mother died, the elders gave me to her care." The old man sighed deeply. "That home is toxic for you. I will remove you from there." He paused and added, "I'm a retired military officer. I was called back for a brief secret mission, and that's when I had the accident." "I am glad you're getting back your strength," Monica said. Colonel Maluka marveled at Monica's kindness, gentleness, and care. Monica carefully washed his wounds with warm water and spread sheer butter on them. Then she reluctantly left, returning to her home while leaving the man alone in the forest. Though still weak, the colonel was able to move around gently in the forest. He felt much better, but knew he needed more rest before attempting to leave. At home, trouble was waiting for Monica. "You worthless, filthy rag," Aunt Lydia spat as soon as she saw her. "Where have you been? Did you even sleep in this house today?" Monica knew there was nothing she could say to make things better, so she stayed silent, hoping for the best. Somehow, Aunt Lydia knew that Monica was hiding the man. I know you didn't do as I told you yesterday. You're still hiding that man somewhere, she said, eyes narrowing. As punishment, Aunt Lydia locked Monica in her room and went out. Monica tried to escape, but the aunt had locked both the door and the window from the outside. She remained inside, trapped, until nightfall when Aunt Lydia returned. She was let out to cook and do house chores. Then, before going to bed, Aunt Lydia locked her up again. Monica couldn't help but worry that the old man would think she had abandoned him. But in the forest, Colonel Maluka somehow sensed that the reason she hadn't come back was because of the trouble she'd gotten into, and possibly because of him. The next morning, Aunt Lydia went out, leaving Monica still locked up. Later, Monica's friend Talatu came to visit her. God must have sent you here to rescue me, Monica said, relieved to see her friend. Talatu unlocked the door and Monica stepped out. They sat down and Monica opened up about everything. Where's the man now? Talatu asked, concern in her voice. He's in the forest. I left him there yesterday. I need go check on him, Monica replied, her worry clear. The two girls hurried into the forest, chatting and laughing along the way. When they reached the spot, they saw Colonel Maluka sitting up and looking much better than the day before. Listen. The man spoke weakly but with determination. I have to go now. This mission is very important. For all the good you have shown me, I will reward you. Even if I can't come myself, my family will come to thank you. Together, they walked into the nearby village. The old man made a phone call, giving his location. In no time, a helicopter arrived and picked him up. Monica and her friend returned home afterward. Aunt Lydia was still not back, so Monica quickly went to her room, and her friend locked the door as if nothing had happened. Back in the city, Colonel Maluka was rushed to the hospital. A team of doctors examined him carefully. The next morning, he was feeling strong enough to go home. His family was overjoyed to see him. His wife cried tears of relief. We kept praying for you. I was afraid something terrible had happened. He smiled softly and replied, Indeed, something terrible happened to me. But God sent me an angel in that village. A young girl saved my life. He went on to tell them about Monica and how she had helped him, even though her wicked aunt had objected to his presence. Wow, his wife said. We need to do something special for this girl. Yes, Colonel Maluka agreed. As the mother and father continued to discuss, their youngest son, Emmanuel, a 25-year-old fresh graduate and pilot, began to show interest in the kind village girl. Though he tried to hide his emotions, there was something about Monica that intrigued him. Dad, this girl must be very special. What's her address? Emmanuel asked casually. His father gave him the address, and Emmanuel didn't hesitate. He stood up, excused himself, and left the house. He hopped into his car and sped off to the village. The village was small, and as soon as Emmanuel asked around for Monica, living with Aunt Lydia, everyone knew exactly where to send him. He was quickly directed to her house. Emmanuel knocked on the door, and Aunt Lydia answered, eyeing him with curiosity. Who are you looking for? She asked. Monica, I heard she lives in this house, Emmanuel replied politely. Aunt Lydia hesitated, wondering why such an important young man, with his good car and well-dressed appearance, would be looking for Monica. A feeling of jealousy stirred inside her. Emmanuel, remembering what his father had told him about Lydia's wickedness, decided to act quickly. He pulled out a bundle of cash and handed it to her. Take this, he said. I really want to see Monica. When Aunt Lydia saw the money, her face lit up like a Christmas tree. Her eyes sparkled with greed, and she quickly smiled and invited him inside. Monica, she called out, there's a man here who wants to see you. Monica came out from the kitchen, curtsied, and greeted Emmanuel, clearly confused about what was going on. Aunt Lydia, eager to finish her cooking, said, Don't worry about the food. Just attend to him, and I'll finish cooking. With that, Aunt Lydia disappeared into the kitchen. Monica sat down, and Emmanuel introduced himself. I'm the son of Colonel Maluka. Monica's eyes widened. Oh, she gasped. How is he doing? He's great. Thanks to you, Emmanuel said. He told us everything you did for him. You were the reason he's alive. But that's not the only reason I'm here. He paused and continued. My family is planning something special to thank you, but I also have another reason for coming. Monica looked at him, curious. Okay, then why are you here? Emmanuel smiled confidently. I'm looking for a wife to marry. When my father told us about you, I told myself I had found the one. So will you marry me? Monica blinked in surprise, but then smiled. If you are the son of Maluka, then yes, I will marry you. With a triumphant grin, Emmanuel stood up. Then let's surprise my father. Monica looked at him, confused. What do you mean? My car is waiting outside. Let's go to my house and announce to my family that we're getting married, Emmanuel said, excitement in his voice. Monica agreed, and they left the house. Before they left, Monica told Aunt Lydia. Lydia, feeling too content with the money she had just received, couldn't care less about her niece's sudden plans. She was thrilled that the money had come her way. Monica and Emmanuel got into the car, and they drove off. As they passed through the forest road, Monica glanced out the window and saw the white python resting on a tree. Before she could fully focus, it vanished as quickly as it had appeared. She couldn't help but wonder who that ancestor was who had somehow connected her with such an important family. They reached Emmanuel's house, and he turned to her with a smile. No knocking. This is just a surprise. Without another word, they walked into the living room, where his father and mother were waiting. The moment Emmanuel's father saw Monica, he froze in place, his eyes wide with recognition. Yes, this is the girl, he muttered. His mother looked at him in disbelief. The Monica that saved your life? Yes, that's the girl, Emmanuel replied. Without hesitation, his mother rushed to Monica and enveloped her in a warm hug. Thank you. Thank you 1,000,000 times for saving my husband's life, she said, her voice filled with gratitude. Once the greetings and emotional exchanges were over, Emmanuel stood proudly and announced, We are getting married. She is the woman I choose. The house erupted in joy. His mother beamed with happiness and said, You are truly welcome into this family. You won't just be my daughter-in-law, but I will see you as my own daughter, my blood. The wedding arrangements began immediately, and Monica couldn't believe how quickly everything was unfolding. Meanwhile, back at Aunt Lydia's house, Monica returned and shared the news. Aunt Lydia was struck with fear and confusion, but the change in her was instant. Overnight, she became kinder and gentler toward Monica, calling her my daughter instead of the usual insults. She no longer shouted at her, and she treated her with unexpected softness. However, Aunt Lydia's sudden change was not out of genuine love. It was all a calculated move. She hoped to find favor with Monica, knowing that she was about to marry into wealth. One night, Aunt Lydia quietly entered Monica's room and knelt down, her voice trembling with regret. Please forgive me for all the wrong I did to you. Monica looked at her, her heart full of forgiveness, and replied, Mama, I have forgiven you. With her head bowed in shame, Aunt Lydia slowly walked back to her room. She reflected on all the terrible things she had done to Monica and, for the very first time, felt genuine remorse. She is my sister's daughter. I shouldn't have treated her like that, she thought, overwhelmed with regret. The next morning, the last day Monica would spend at her aunt's house before leaving for her husband's home, she visited her mother's grave. She should have felt happiness, but there was a deep sadness in her heart. She longed for her mother to see her on her wedding day. As Monica walked to the grave, tears fell from her eyes. Mama will not see me on my special day. Mama will not see me on my special day, she kept repeating to herself. When she arrived at the grave, something unusual caught her eye. The white python was lying on top of her mother's grave. Monica gasped, Mama, so you are the one. Just as quickly as it appeared, the white python vanished. Fresh tears rolled down her cheeks, but this time they weren't tears of sorrow. They were tears of joy, knowing that her mother had been with her all along, watching over her. Monica spent quality time by the grave, placing flowers and praying in peace, feeling the warmth of her mother's presence. The following day was a D-Day, the day Monica and Emmanuel were married in grand style. The ceremony was filled with love and joy, marking the beginning of their new life together. Monica went on to live a happy and fulfilled life. As promised, Colonel Maluka's family treated her like their own daughter. Emmanuel's mother saw her not just as a daughter-in-law, but as a daughter of her own blood. Thanks for watching, and may God bless you. I'd love to hear your thoughts on the moral lesson of the story.